Hello, good morning. I was asked to just share a quick message on what has encouraged me and what scripture, what God has said to me in this time of lockdown. So one of the principles that is really deeply stored in my heart is that God never lets us be at a certain place without already have given us the keys of victory in that very moment. It comes from a story in Exodus 13. When the Israelites came out of Egypt, God led them a certain way. So in Exodus 13, verse 17, it says that God did not lead them by the way of the land of the Philistines, although that was near. For God said, lest perhaps the people change their minds when they see war and return to Egypt. So God knew they weren't ready yet for war. So he made them go another way. It also means that if you face a war of whatever in your life right now, it means you are ready, because God wouldn't allow us to face a war that we're not yet ready for. Verse 18, it says, so God led the people around by the way of the wilderness of the Red Sea. So God leads us the ways that we know he knows we can be victorious in. If you remember back the story when Jesus was baptized, right? At his baptism, he heard God's audible voice, you are my beloved son in whom I am well pleased. And then just a little bit later, he was tempted in the desert by the devil. And what did the enemy attack in that moment? Exactly the word that God has spoken before. He said, if you are God's son, do this. If you are God's son, worship me. If you are God's son. So God already gave the very confirmation, you are my beloved son, to Jesus. So whatever war we are facing, whatever doubts or lies or fears or discouragement or whatever the enemy tries to throw at us right now, go back and look at what God did tell you before. And I went back because I was also a bit discouraged in this time when it first started. I looked back in my journal and saw, what did God say to me? Sometimes, he might have spoken in scriptures that he gave you, or sermons on Sundays, or whatever conferences. So we had a conference here, and Bill Johnson was in South Africa, and he shared in one of his sermons about the key of praise and how, it says, we know in Psalm 100, enter into his gates with thanksgiving, into his courts with praise. Be thankful to him and bless his name. So the whole being thankful, being full of praise. He also shared how in Revelation 21:21, the gates were pearls. So it says, enter into his gates with praise. But the gates in Revelations are 12 pearls. And pearls they don't just come. Pearls are made in irritation. They're formed in irritation circumstances. And Bill Johnson shared how it is easy. Anyone can praise when we have times of success and times of promotion and everything is going how we want it to go. And but it's in the times where we praise and where we are full of thankfulness, where we declare God's goodness, but we're not in a time of where we want to be. That's when those pearly gates are formed. So it's in situations of opposition, in situations of irritation. So that's just one of the keys that helped me to know, okay, I am in a situation of irritation. I'm a bit irritated. But this is the exact place where through praise and thanksgiving and through worship, through declaring God's goodness, believing in his promises, speaking all the things he's shared with me before, believing them, speaking them, worship and praise. It helped me to just allow the situation be almost like a catalyst of letting those pearls be formed. Yeah, so I just want to encourage you to go back and see what God has shared with you. Be encouraged. He would not have led you to that place and where you're at right now without already having given you the keys of victory. So you will be victorious. You are victorious. If you feel a bit discouraged still, or in whatever way, go back and see what God has said, what he has shared with you, what scriptures, what verses, what prophetic words, or what worship songs stood out. All right, I'll hope you have a wonderful day, and thanks.